Welcome back, folks. South Africa finds itself in the midst of a storm, one it could have avoided. But once again, the ANC has made choices that could have catastrophic consequences for the nation and its people. This is a day that will go down in history as a wake-up call to those who thought the ANC's reckless foreign policy wouldn't come back to haunt them. From a devastating refugee bill introduced in the United States Congress to a series of diplomatic blunders, South Africa's international standing has taken a nosedive. Let's dive into what's really going on. Before we continue, if you're loving the content and want to take things to the next level, why not consider joining the channel? As a member, you'll unlock some seriously awesome perks. We're talking exclusive badges, emojis to flex in the comments, sneak peeks of upcoming videos, and even special shoutouts during the show. Plus, you'll be directly supporting the channel so I can keep bringing you the best content possible. Just hit that join button below and take your seat among the legends. And hey, if you're not ready to join, no worries. Your likes, comments, and shares still mean the world to me. Thanks for being here, and know that you are appreciated. Now let's keep this party going. First up, the new legislation being pushed in the United States House of Representatives, spearheaded by Texas Congressman Troy Nehls. This bill, known as the AfriConner Act, aims to grant special refugee status to white South African farmers, a group that has long claimed persecution by the South African government. But this isn't just about offering refuge, it's about sending a strong message. The United States is taking serious action against the South African government's failure to protect its own citizens, and it's a sign of the widening rift between two countries that should be allies. As if that wasn't enough, we've got the disastrous actions of South Africa's own foreign ministers to contend with. Ronnie Lamola, whose diplomatic blunders are becoming legendary, is not backing down from his disastrous policies. Instead of aligning with democratic nations that share South Africa's values, Lamola and the ANC continue to cozy up to some of the world's most dangerous players: Hamas, Iran, Russia, and China. And this is where things get deeply concerning for South Africa's future. In 2023, accusations surfaced that South African officials were directly linked to the terrorist group Hamas. This is not a baseless claim. Hamas is widely recognized as a militant and terrorist organization responsible for a long history of violent attacks, including suicide bombings and rocket attacks targeting civilians in Israel. What's even more troubling is the evidence suggesting that South African diplomats, particularly within the ANC, have been involved in providing material support to Hamas. Why is this such a big deal? Well, Hamas is not just some fringe group. It is recognized as a terrorist organization by the United States, the European Union, Canada, and many other nations worldwide. Any support or even indirect association with Hamas brings South Africa dangerously close to being aligned with organizations that threaten global security. The implications of this could lead to sanctions, diplomatic isolation, and a tarnished global reputation. But the story doesn't stop there. It's been reported that during the October 7, 2023, Hamas-led attacks on Israel, South Africa's involvement went beyond mere rhetoric. South African officials have been accused of facilitating the transfer of funds and weapons that helped fuel this terror campaign. If these allegations are true, the ANC has not only endangered its own citizens, but also jeopardized South Africa's diplomatic and economic standing on the global stage. In response to these allegations, there have been growing calls within the international community for South Africa to be held accountable. But instead of distancing itself from Hamas and condemning its violent actions, the ANC continues to maintain ties with the group. This failure to take a clear stance against terrorism is a slap in the face to every South African who values peace, security, and a stable future. But it gets worse. The U.S. government has made it clear that it will not stand idly by while countries like South Africa provide aid to terrorist organizations. South Africa's ambassador to the U.S., Ibrahim Rasool, was recently expelled after making incendiary remarks that openly sympathized with Hamas. In fact, Rasool was quoted calling President Trump the leader of a global white supremacist movement, a statement that has only added fuel to the fire in the already strained South Africa-U.S. relationship. And it doesn't end there. South Africa's involvement with Hamas is a part of a larger pattern of behavior that has seen the country cozy up to global pariahs. From Iran to Russia, the ANC has been aligning itself with governments and organizations that represent the antithesis of democracy, human rights, and international peace. These alliances are not just a diplomatic misstep, they are a threat to South Africa's future and the well-being of its people. Now, the diplomatic disasters don't just hurt South Africa's reputation, they hurt the people. A new bill is coming down the pipeline that could impose a 30% tariff on South African goods entering the U.S. Under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, South Africa had been enjoying tariff-free access to the U.S. market for its exports, but those days are quickly vanishing. This is a direct blow to South Africa's already fragile economy, making its products far less competitive in the global market. And let's not forget about the accusation that South African officials were involved in aiding Hamas during the October 7th attack in 2023, a claim that, if proven true, could put South Africa on the wrong side of history. But it's not just allegations. This government has been sliding deeper into the orbit of maligned powers that don't have South Africa's best interests at heart. And the consequences of these alliances are now painfully clear. Now the ANC can spin all the lies it wants. Ronnie Lamola can rant about how the US bill is full of misinformation. But the truth is in the public record. The ANC is aligned with the very powers that threaten global peace and security. And in doing so, they've put South Africa's future in jeopardy. This isn't just a political failure. It's a betrayal of the people of South Africa, who will suffer from these foreign policy decisions. The country is losing allies, the economy is spiraling, and the people are the ones who will pay the price for the ANC's reckless leadership. The question is, how much longer will South Africans tolerate this betrayal? How much longer will they allow the ANC to sell out their future for the sake of political posturing? It's time to demand accountability. It's time to call out the hypocrisy, the lies, and the betrayal that are destroying South Africa from the inside out. Because right now, the ANC is playing a dangerous game, and it's the South African people who will bear the consequences. Let's hope, for their sake, it's not too late to turn this around. Thanks for watching. See you next time.